أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله
اللهم صل
الله
اللهم بارك
إن الحمد لله. Indeed, we praise Allah. نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره. We praise Him, we seek His help, and we seek His forgiveness. ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا. And we seek refuge in Allah from the evils of ourselves and the evil consequence of our deeds. من يهده الله فلا مضل له. Whomsoever Allah He guides, none can lead him astray. ومن يضلل فلا هادي له. And whosoever Allah He leaves astray, as we always say, because of the person's own wickedness, none can guide him to the straight path. Whoever Allah He leaves astray because of the person's own corruption, Allah never lets someone be misguided except that it is their fault, except that he deserves to be misguided because of his sins, because of his corruption. If Allah leaves him astray because of not any injustice from Allah, فَلَا هَادِيَ لَهُ. Never will he find anyone to guide him. وَأَشْهَدُ أَنْ لَا إِلَهَ إِلَّا اللَّهِ. I bear witness that there is no deity who deserves to be worshipped except Allah, Jalla Jalaluh. وأشهد أن سيدنا ومولانا وحبيبنا محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم عبده ورسوله. And I bear witness that our beloved Prophet Muhammad, the best of mankind, sallallahu alayhi wasallam, is his servant and his messenger. Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu. Allah He calls you, O people of Iman, ittaqullah, fear your Lord, haqqa tuqatih, as He is deserving of being feared. Fearing Allah means to be conscious that Allah is aware of all of your deeds, every minute of every second of every hour of every day. As we always say, Allah is seeing you and hearing of everything that you do. وَلَا تَمُوتُنَّ إِلَّا وَأَنْتُمْ مُسْلِمُونَ. And do not die except that you die in the state of Islam, state of completely submitting yourself to your Lord. Ya ayyuhan nas, Allah He calls you, O mankind, ittaqu rabbakum, fear your Lord, alladhi khalaqakum min nafsin wahida, the one who created you from a single soul, wa khalaqa minha zawjaha, and from him our father He created our mother Hawa, wa batha minhuma rijalan kathiran wa nisaa, and from them both what we witness today, in their millions or rather in their billions, mankind. وَاتَّقُوا اللَّهَ الَّذِي تَسَاءَلُونَ بِهِ وَالْأَرْحَامِ. And fear your Lord from whom you seek your mutual rights of kinship. إِنَّ اللَّهَ كَانَ عَلَيْكُمْ رَقِيبًا. Indeed, Allah is ever aware of everything that you do. يَا أَيُّهَا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا. Allah He calls you again, O people of Iman, اتَّقُوا اللَّهَ. Allah He says, fear your Lord. وَقُولُوا قَوْلًا سَدِيدًا. And whenever you speak, speak that which is right. As we always say, this is from the best characteristics that Allah He gave the prophets and the messengers, the best of all people. That Allah He guarantees you a great gift, a great favor. That if you make sure no matter what situation you are in, whenever you use your tongue, you use it in a correct way. The times that the people, they say the wrong things, or the times they use the tongues in the wrong manners, is when they're extremely on the right or on the extreme left, as we always say. Indeed, we only remind such that it may benefit the believer. When the people are extremely happy, they say something out of happiness or excitement they're not supposed to say. So they regret it. Or when they're extremely sad, they say something that they're not supposed to say. And then they regret it. Allah wants you to be balanced in the middle. He says, if you say what is right in every situation, at every moment, in every time, no matter what's going on with you, يُصْلِحْ لَكُمْ أَعْمَالَكُمْ. Allah will rectify all of your affairs. وَيَغْفِرْ لَكُمْ ذُنُوبَكُمْ. And then He will forgive your uncountable sins. How many sins we commit every day? وَمَن يُطِعِ اللَّهَ وَرَسُولَهُ. Whosoever obeys Allah and His Messenger, فَقَدْ فَازَ فَوْزًا عَظِيمًا. Indeed, they have attained the greatest achievement. أما بعد فإن أصدق الحديث كتاب الله. No doubt, the best speech is the book of Allah. وخير الهدي هدي محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم. And the best guidance is the guidance of Muhammad صلى الله عليه وسلم. وشر الأمور محدثاتها. And the worst of our affairs are the newly invented matters. وكل محدثة بدعة. Every newly invented matter is a bid'ah. The newly invented matters in the deen, not the dunya, not these fans, not these lights, not the deen. The Prophet every time used to emphasize it. Every newly invented matter in the deen, it is rejected. Mardudun, it is rejected. Back towards the one who came with it. Today we try to remind ourselves of this great month that we're in. Everybody knows we're in Ramadan. Even the kuffar, they know we're in Ramadan. They come towards us, they greet us, they treat us nicer, they even give us gifts. Maybe your co-worker, your friend, your colleague. Even the disbelievers, they know it is Ramadan. Rather, even the shayateen know it's Ramadan because Allah locked them off. Rather, even the worst of all people who sin every day during Ramadan, they leave of the sins. So we are all aware that we're in this great virtuous month that Allah has sanctified and given us a gift that we did not work for. Rather, it is a gift from Allah. A favor that Allah has given us so that we might be thankful. In this month that Allah has given us, walillahi alhamd, indeed, whoever stands in the night, you will definitely catch Laylatul Qadr. So Allah has given us Laylatul Qadr. Allah, He says, Inna anzalnahu fi Laylatul Qadr, wa ma adraka ma Laylatul Qadr, Laylatul Qadri khayru min alfi shahr. That this night, Allah has made it a night that is greater than 1,000 months. تنزل الملائكة وروح فيها بإذن ربهم من كل أمر. A night in which the angels they descend. A night in which Allah He rewards you with rewards that you cannot achieve in a lifetime. Allah has made this month a glorious month, a month of fasting as well, a month that Allah forgives the sins. As the Prophet He says, every night Allah has a group of people that Allah He takes and He saves them from the hellfire. A month in which sadaqah is encouraged. Allah has given us a month that is so great that we are encouraged to give a lot of sadaqah, and we fast and we feed the people. For whoever feeds one fasting person, it is as if he himself fasted. He will get the reward of the fasting person. So the virtues of Ramadan are many, and we all know it. Allah He says, "Kutiba alaykum as-siyam, kama kutiba ala alladhina min qablikum, la'allakum tattaqun," that you may attain some piety. شهر رمضان الذي أنزل فيه القرآن هدى للناس وبينات من الهدى والفرقان ومن شهد منكم الشهر فليصم ومن كان منكم مريضا أو على سفر فعدة من أيام أخرى يريد الله بكم اليسر ولا يريد بكم العسر ولتكملوا العدة ولتكبروا الله على ما هداكم ولعلكم تشكرون, so that you may attain gratitude and you will thank Allah. After Allah gives you a lot of gifts, it's like your parent. After they give you a lot of gifts, you try to show them gratitude and be thankful to them. Or your boss, when you work for him hardly, you do a lot of good work. At the end of the year, what he tries to do? To reward you. Gratitude. Or even your friends, when you help them with a lot of things, at the end of the day, what they try to do? Show gratitude. To thank you for the things that you have done for them. So indeed, it is the action of the believer to thank Allah after Allah has given him all of these virtues in this short period of time, 1 month, that Allah has made the nights the best of the nights. Allah has given you an opportunity to reach Him with doing very little deeds. May Allah make us achieve them. Indeed, after Allah gives us all of these gifts, then comes the day of Eid. The Eid day is approaching very soon. Most of us are aware that a lot of the Muslims, or some of the Muslims we should say, that after Allah has given them all of this opportunity, what did they do at the end? They follow the good deed with the evil deed. Allahu Akbar. The day that Allah has called you, like He said, وَلِتُكْمِلُوا الْعِدَّةَ وَلِتُكَبِّرُوا اللَّهَ عَلَى مَا هَدَاكُمْ. Exactly the same wording Allah He says, وَلَعَلَّكُمْ تَشْكُرُونَ. So that you may be thankful to Him. Allah He says, complete the month and then show gratitude. And then immediately after completing the month, Allah has given you all of these gifts and all of these favors. Some of us start to go back to sinning and making Allah angry again. Wallahi, the Prophet ﷺ, he said, and this is to show you why you should not follow the sin. Some people plan before Ramadan, during Ramadan, and before Ramadan ends, the sin they will commit on the day of Eid. The haram that they will do with the people that they will do, or the places that they will go, or the amount of haram that they will consume. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Imagine how angry Allah will be to see you after He has given you all of these favors, and to show you that it's something very dangerous, that you can lose not only your fasting, not only your Ramadan, not only your Laylatul Qadr, not only all the sadaqah that you gave, not only all of the goodie that you do, but you might even lose everything that you have worked for. For if Allah is angry with the servant, He can cancel all of their deeds. Habaya manthura. You will reach Allah and Allah will cancel everything and make you look like you did not do anything. May Allah save us from this. But it's from our actions. And this is why the Prophet he said, the fasting person, if someone comes to you and he tries to fight you, what do you say to them? Inni mru'un sa'im. I am a man who is fasting. I am a servant who is fasting. Do not fight them. Do not fight them. And this is why he said the fasting person who doesn't live off evil action, evil speech, Allah has no need of their fasting. Because you are following a good deed with a bad deed. The fasting person who is engaged in evil, the Sahabas, they told the Prophet ﷺ, there is a woman who fasts all the time. She does a lot of good. She prays, she fasts, and she does a lot of good. But she harms the people with speech, with her speech and with her hand and whatever else that she used to do. The Prophet said, no good for her. And he gave the glad tidings of the person's evil ending. So if you do a good deed, Allah gave you the opportunity to do a very beautiful good deed. And for sure, whoever prays in these 10 nights, guaranteed you have got Laylatul Qadr. Why would you follow this Laylatul Qadr with evil? Why would you follow this Ramadan with sinning? Why would you follow your fasting with angering the one who is going to accept your deed? This is why the companions, they never felt like Allah accepted it. And so the famous statement goes, they will supplicate to Allah 6 months after Ramadan, asking Allah to accept it. Oh Allah, please accept it. Oh Allah, please accept it. Because if Allah accepts it, now it is guaranteed. Now it is given. They don't engage in sin like us. One of the Salaf, his wife, called him on the day of Eid. She said to him, how many of the women have you looked? He said to her, I did not look at anything apart from my feet. From the Eid place, going forth and coming back. Today you cannot even do that. Because it's haram. The people themselves, on the day of Eid, male and female, they dress in every type of satanic dressing. That they cause people to sin on the day that they're supposed to thank their Lord and cause the anger of their Lord. For Allah to give you a gift, it is a great favor that Allah has given us. And then you use that gift, or after that gift, you anger Allah, then it is only punishment that will come after that. Do not expect any good. There is a man from Bani Israel, and even, what a beautiful example, because Bani Israel are the most ungrateful servants of Allah, or from the most ungrateful people that have ever walked this earth. That after Allah has given them all of the favors, Ya Bani Israel, Allah, He calls them so many places in the Quran. Udhkuru ni'mati allati an'amta alaykum. Remember the bounties that we have given you. Allah favored them over all of mankind. Wa anni faddaltukum ala al-alamin. Allah made from them prophets. Allah made from them people that were called to Allah. But after that, they showed ingratitude to Allah. So Allah punished them with the greatest punishment. And we all know of their ending. So Allah, He warned the believers. He says, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu, la takunu kalladhi adha Musa, fabara Allahu mimma qalu, wa kana inda Allahi wajiha. That do not be like those who harmed Musa alayhi salam. The Prophet ﷺ used to say, when the people questioned him, he said, he shook his head. And he would remind of what happened to Musa alayhi salam and how Bani Israel, they troubled him so much. They did everything to him. Everything you can think of. So Allah made their ending an evil ending. There was a man, a beautiful example to give why we should be careful of following a gift that Allah has given us with an evil deed. Bal'am ibn Ba'ura, a man who lived during the time of Bani Israel. This man, Allah gave him the favor of knowing all the name, the most important name. There's a name that Allah had informed that he knew. Whoever had this name and he calls Allah with this name, guaranteed whatever you ask, Allah will give it to you. This man knew that name of Allah. And this man was called to be one of the scholars of Bani Israel, a righteous man. Many narrations from Ibn Mas'ud and from others other than him, from the Salaf, Malik ibn Dinar, and others, they all commented about him. They said Allah gave him this name. This man, he was a scholar, someone who you would think of, mashallah, being from the top level righteous people. After Allah gave him this gift, imagine you have a name of Allah that is guaranteed. If you use this name to call Allah, whatever you ask, Allah will give it to you. Like Al-Bara ibn Malik. Remember Al-Bara ibn Malik? We mentioned it here before. Allah, he said, or rather the Prophet, he said that there are people among you, they are disheveled. When you see them, you don't see any importance. Like the person doesn't look good, he doesn't look beautiful, his clothing is ugly, he has no money, no importance in society. The Prophet, he said, لَوْ أَقْسَمَ عَلَى اللَّهِ لَأَبَرَّهُ. That if he were to take an oath by Allah, anything he would say, he would ask Allah, Allah would accept it. Because of what? The righteousness, the level they will receive. So Allah gave him a virtue, a bounty, a favor. Al-Bara ibn Malik always used it for good. The Sahabas, when the war would be tough, they would go to him and tell him, call Allah, make dua to Allah so that we can win the war. He would make dua to Allah and always it would succeed. So this man had something similar. He had a name of Allah. If he called to Allah, Allah would guaranteed answer whatever he would ask for. This man, what did he decide to do? The dunya made him fade away. The enjoyment, the pleasures of the dunya made him fade away. This man decided, instead of using it in the way that Allah wanted, his people came to him because he was from Bani Canaan. They lived in that area, Syria, Palestine, Jordan, that we know as Sham. They came to him because Musa and his army were coming. They came to him, they said to him, we need your help. Musa and his people will destroy our homeland, our families. They will take our wealth, our money and everything. Please make dua against Musa alayhi salam. Even a person of common sense, you will think to yourself, why should I go against the Prophet? The same Prophet because of whom I got this high status. The same Prophet because of whom I reached this scholarship. The same Prophet because of whom I am here where I am today. After Allah gave him all of this bounty, this man, after they came to him, tried to bribe him with money, with wealth, with everything. Allah knows whatever they tried to bribe him with. He finally decided, okay, let me think about it. He took his donkey, he walked towards the mountain. The same donkey he was riding upon, the donkey refused to go. The donkey would shake him and fall him off. He would beat the donkey and try to go. Until a certain point, he pushed the donkey, he tried to walk himself up to the mountain. He wanted to go up all the way to the mountain. People were thinking, now what is he going to do? He's going to make dua against Musa, he's going to make dua against his own people that Musa want to fight. He went all the way towards the mountain and he was misguided. And he tried to make dua against Musa alayhi salam. And to show you why, if Allah gives you a great virtue, be careful not to use it in a way that will anger Allah. This man, he reached the mountain. He wanted to say, oh Allah, destroy Musa and his army. He said the opposite. Allah made his tongue to say the opposite. Even though he came to make dua against Musa, he said, oh Allah, destroy Bani Canaan. And as soon as he realized what he said, his tongue drooled out. Everything came out, falling on the ground. Like this. You know how the dog pants. When you see the dog, the way the tongue of the dog comes out, his tongue became like that. And he started wailing and crying to himself. He shouted to his people, you have destroyed me. I lost the akhirah, I lost the dunya. Allahu Akbar kabira. Because Allah gave him a great virtue, he tried to use the virtue in a way that did not please Allah. The same way Allah gave us a great virtue this Ramadan and every Ramadan, that He gave us Laylatul Qadr, that He gave us the salawat, that He gave us the fasting. How many people have lived with us, they're not here today? How many people? And we're here, Allah give us this opportunity. Brothers and sisters, be careful to attain the anger of Allah. Wallahi, it is very serious in the eyes of Allah. If Allah is angry, then do not expect any good for yourself. May Allah save us. Alhamdulillah wahda, wassalatu wassalamu ala man la nabiyya ba'da, wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa man tabi'ahum bi ihsan ila yawmiddin, amma ba'd. Allah has given us these opportunities to attain His pleasure. It is the day of Eid that you find a lot of people, they're coming up with different types of sin. Subhanallah. Every time you see something new. Last time we saw people in hijab having a hijab party in a nightclub. Like, how do you come up with these types of sins? Why would you even go to a nightclub, make a hijab party, take the hijab? Sometimes if you sin, at least even sin, but don't try to make your sin to like the top level. Why would you take the hijab to the nightclub? What is the point of this? Let us be careful of attaining the anger of Allah. And the Ramadan fest, or the Suhoor fest, I think that's what they call it. Suhoor fest. So a lot of people would gather and go Suhoor time, and literally they would kind of party during Suhoor. The people know. Those of you who use Instagram and all this, you've seen it. Why would you use the name of Allah, the name of Islam, the name of the Deen, and the things that are part of the Deen to go and commit sin? You will see people dressed anyhow, playing music, doing whatever stuff they say they came to do Suhoor to. In Subhanallah al-Azim. Be careful of sinning against Allah. For indeed Ramadan is a virtue that Allah He gives. There were two companions, the Prophet, his Sahabas, companions. One of them he fought in jihad, fi sabilillah. He died before the other one. The other one who met only one more Ramadan, the companions, one of them, he saw both of them in their dreams. And he said to the Prophet, I saw this one enter Jannah before the other one. The one who fought jihad fi sabilillah, he entered Jannah after the one who fasted one more Ramadan. How many more virtues, how much more importance can you give to the month of Ramadan? How many more lessons do we need to remind us to stay away from the anger of Allah? If you have an addiction, and Allah knows all of us, we are all sinners. Allah knows that we are all sinners. If you have an addiction that you cannot control, then try to hide yourself. If you have to, try to hide yourself and do not publicize your sin. For indeed Allah has given us a virtue, a great benefit that we should not use, after which Allah has given us to anger our Lord. There were two men, Bani Israel, again, from the people of Bani Israel. One of them was a righteous person. Allah made him attain from the greatest levels. This man had a position where he would go to the people, Al-Amru bil-Ma'ruf, wa-Nahy al-Munkar. He would go to the people, warn them from evil, command them of good. He used to go after one of his friends all the time. Tell him, you better stop this sin, you better stop this sin, you better stop this sin. He was following him too much. Until one day, because Allah has given you a position, sometimes if you are a scholar or you have reached a certain place, you feel yourself in a certain way. He told his friend, Allah will never forgive you. Allah will never forgive you. Allah was so mad with this, even though this man was a righteous man, an abd of Allah, a worshipper of Allah. Allah was so mad with him, He sent the angels to send news to them that Allah has forgiven your friend with all of his sin. And Allah will never forgive you. Subhanallah. Be careful of Allah giving you a bounty, a virtue, something that is a favor from Allah, no matter what type of salawat you prayed, no matter how many nawafil you prayed, no matter how many Laylatul Qadr you met, no matter how many hajj you did, it is a favor from Allah. It is not because of your own deeds. Be careful of Allah giving you any favor that He has given you, and then you use it to anger your Lord. Whether it is wealth, whether it is children, whether it is houses, whatever you have, anything that you have, you did not get it from yourself. Allah gave it to you. Be careful of what Allah has given you, even the eyes, the legs, everything that we have. Subhanallah al-Azim, even the eyes. The man whom the Prophet he mentioned to us, that he came to Allah. Allah, on the day that Allah will judge him to enter into paradise or Jannah, he came towards Allah. He worshipped Allah for how many years? 500 good years he worshipped Allah. Allah said to the angels, enter him into Jannah through my mercy. The man said, no. What? Because he's surprised. He said to Allah, after all of this worship, Allah tried to show him how much favor Allah had given him. Because sometimes you think you are a man of yourself. You are a top G, like our people they say. Allah told the angels to weigh the bounty of the eye on one side and his 500 years of worship on the other side. And the eye, the virtue, the greatness, the reward, the favor of only being able to see outweighed his 500 years of worship. Imagine you have two eyes. Imagine you have two hands. Imagine you have two legs. Imagine you have a tongue. You have a brain that you can think. And you use all of these things to sin against Allah. Dear brothers and sisters, Allahu Akbar Kabira. It is great in the eyes of Allah that we follow up all of these favors of Allah with sinning against Allah. Let us be careful. We are the guardians of our flock. We are the guardians of our flock. The Prophet he told us, Kullukum ra'in wa kullukum mas'ulun an ra'iyatihi, that all of you are guardians of your flock. and everyone will be asked about his flock. So you, the father, make sure your wife and your children do not sin against Allah. You, the mother, the wife, make sure your husband and your children do not sin against Allah. You, the brother, make sure your sisters don't sin against Allah. You, the sister, make sure your brothers don't sin against Allah. You, the leader of wherever place you are, make sure your people, whoever is under your charge, whether it's your nephew, whether it's your son-in-law, whether it is whoever, make sure that you do not help them to sin against Allah. It is a day we are supposed to attain the gratitude that we're supposed to show Allah. We do not want to be like Bani Israel, that after Allah had given them all of these favors, they decided to show ingratitude to Allah. And we all see what Allah had ended up giving them. We ask Allah to save us from His punishment. We ask Allah to save us from His anger. We ask Allah to forgive our sins. Allahumma ati nufusana taqwaha wa zakkiha anta khayru man zakkaha anta waliyuha wa mawlaha. Rabbana atina fid dunya hasana wa fil akhirati hasana wa qina adhaban nar. Rabbana la tuzigh qulubana ba'da idh hadaytana wa hab lana min ladunka rahmah إنك أنت الوهاب. اللهم أعز الإسلام والمسلمين. اللهم أعز الإسلام والمسلمين وأذل الشرك والمشركين أعداءك أعداء الدين وانصر إخواننا في فلسطين. اللهم انصر إخواننا في فلسطين وفي كل مكان وتقبل منا صيامنا وقيامنا وركوعنا وسجودنا. اللهم أنت ولينا ومولانا نعم المولى ونعم النصير. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا